Vigilante Williamson here with the 7th episode of VW Casual. Sort of a pop-up style stream, a lot more laid back than the other stuff we just did. The Culture Crime Fighters with Chrissy Mayer earlier today. Vigilante Williamson show did one yesterday. Have another one for tomorrow. And so this is not that. This is more of a laid back format. I'm a little tipsy, a little buzz, so apologize for that. To be fair, I'm usually fairly high, but a little bit between weed days. I ran out a couple days ago. I'll get some tomorrow. Like anyone cares. My man Gomer Kyle. Hell, Gomer Kyle. He says, hell all night owls. All right. LVW, hell yens. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everyone who showed up for the Chrissy Mayer show. Hope it went well. Yeah, Gomer needs some too, yeah. I want to get to the point where I grow my own, man. That's what you gotta do. Keeps it safe from the pesticides. I've heard stuff about there's a pesticide that messes with your hormones. Hell, Parrothead just sent me something pretty funny. Parrothead's good for sending memes on Twitter. Makes Twitter manageable. This is a show about nothing. Sometimes I have subjects. Today I'm starting off with really nothing. Honestly, I love streaming because it's kind of a therapeutic thing. So that's what this is. It's just me feeling a little on the downside. Just like, I'm just gonna stream. I'm just gonna stream. Say a little tipsy. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. At least too much. Too much. Sorry. Now I'm staring at Twitter. Hell, Parrothead. Hell, Stream Elements by. Feel free to, if you want to support, you guys are already pretty supportive. A lot of you guys already sent super chats. Sorry if I didn't get to them timely during the show. It was a very hectic show earlier. And I appreciate the Chrissy Mayer showed up. Shout out to Chrissy. Shout out to Matt, who works really, really hard for the Culture Crime Fighters. Like, really, really hard. But yeah, just saying, just kind of doing a stream. Not sure how long it'll go. I appreciate all the other night owls. Or I guess in Yen's case, because he's in England, it's like morning or something. But I appreciate everybody here, man. Appreciate everybody here. Let me see. What do I want to talk about? Oh, Parrothead just sent another photo. Looks like a comic. Let me see. Oh, this comic book I read. Parrothead, is it cool if I share this comic you just shared with me, man? It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. It helps cheers me up a little bit. So I can share it. I see. So my man Gomer Kyle says his stepson gets his, but it's the vapor kind. And it lasts a little, but the regular lasts longer. You know what? The vapor, I used to be on that. Not as big of a fan of the vapor stuff. Because one, I just talked about the pesticide thing. You really cannot tell what the hell's in it. Like, it's bad enough with these plants who only the Most High knows how they're growing. What the hell, StreamYard? It's telling me new comments, but it's not showing any new comments. It's just the last comment it shows. Should probably open up opening up in another tab for the actual YouTube stream. Shout out to anyone who's checking me out on YouTube, on Twitch, or on DLive, because I am on all three platforms. And I got to get Odyssey going pretty quick. Who knows what's going to happen with this crazy-ass platform. Always eating subs. Always doing something funny. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. You know what I want to talk about? Does anybody know the whole Geeky Pixie thing? I'm going to share Parrothead's comics. I think it's a funny comic. And then I'll talk about the Geeky Pixie thing. I thought it was interesting. It really confirms my, what I want to do with my channel, which is be a lot less active and a lot less on other people's channel, because I only know of Geeky Pixie because I did so many damn streams. I ended up with a stream with him, aka Jared. If you didn't know, Geeky Pixie ain't no woman, it's a man, baby. Complete man, whole man, with a peen and all that. Whole penis. Whole penis and balls. People lust after them. Apparently, they were using an underage person's photographs. I thought they looked young to be 28, which was their purported age. Apparently, it's a 35-year-old dude, a 34-year-old dude. But apparently, there were nudes. I didn't see that because we were following each other because of a stream that we were on. And my only interaction with Geeky Pixie, I want to say it was Culture, who I was on the stream with, and they were on. They were one of many people who he had at the time on the Sunday Culture Review. And then I saw them on Twitch. They were playing Final Fantasy VII Review. I interacted a little bit in the chat. Never flirted because I'm on my semi-MGTOW shit. And it paid dividends. Paid many dividends. Kept me from embarrassing the shit out of myself. And sorry for the delay. I'm sort of vamping for myself to get this damn comic that Pearhead just sent me up. Let's see what happens. Okay. Como estás? Says Eric K. Hell, Eric K. Shout out to the Night Owl. I don't speak that much Spanish. I see iPad, though. Need to get on Twitter again. I hate it, but seems all time there. I can call y'all my YouTube friends. Hey, if you're on Minds, I'm on there too. And I'm technically on TikTok, even though I don't check it periodically. I'm not going to really check my TikTok. I'm just going to post stuff, and that's pretty much it. One thing I figured out is why there was an echo. Apparently, when I share the screen, share the audio, I need to mute the audio from the screen before I play it. This comic, though, is pretty funny. So, see, the comic says, heard your ex is going to have a baby. And the guy says, yep, I'm at that point where all my old girlfriends are hatching pondlings. And he says, now, this isn't the ex you caught cheating on you. And he says, you must think I'm really petty. That was 4 years ago. We both moved on, become good friends since. He says, friends, what have you done for her lately that constitutes friendly? And he says, it just so happens that I sent her a baby shower gift. And as you see, is a hanger, which is awesome. To be honest, like, you don't need, like, why be friends with your ex? I'm not that guy. I'm not a people person. I am not a people person. So I'm like, after we're done. And Gomer Kyle says, yeah. So Eric can't have enough trouble with English, so the Spanish is over our heads. Spanish over our heads. What's happening, everyone? Damn iPod, impossible to share your minds. No worries, man. Hey, listen. Or iPad, I'm sorry, iPod. It's not 1994 or 1999. Listen, Eric K., you're technically just supposed to be a wino, so to speak, a wrench in name only. Just here to class up the joint. You don't have to actually wrench. Saggy Melons, yeah, had dealing with the idiot when he went by Kitty. I found that out as well. Eric K., are you on Twitter? You're asking. What's up? Y'all, relax. I'm here now. You know what? I can relax. That another monster showing up. Yeah, Gomer. She will be let go gently. It will be made to look like she has better projects to do. I'm talking about Kathleen Kennedy. Let's hope so. I have to take something to handle people. That's how I feel. Monster person. Well, you're not really a monster. Another monster. I mean, I know it's the name. You're pretty cool. And wrench must wrench. Yeah, you just can't help yourself. You're supposed to be a wino, but you're not. You do wrench. But feel no obligations. The bots should help you with the minds thing. All right, Eric K. And Eric K is on Twitter, he says. So maybe you can get, I don't really like Twitter. I only use it to communicate with the people. So that's it. I don't really I honestly today use Twitter more than I ever have just because of the Geeky Pixie thing. And tweeting the little Austin Powers meme. And we're all monster in the eyes of other people. You're not a monster in my eyes, another monster. And hey, some people are monsters in our eyes, and they don't think so. So who knows? But the reason the Geeky Pixie thing kind of just resonates with like my it's one of those things that confirms I'm my thinking is not crazy. I love everybody in this community. I love streaming with people, but I am not the guy that wants to stream with everyone all the time. A lot of people really do love that, and it is fun at times. It's very much fun at times. But I'm like seeing that I really need to hold back with how often I stream, especially off of this channel. I have to stream a lot less and stop, as much as, when I very first, and not really first started, honestly, with 5 months with this channel with no fandom minutes interaction. That's how the channel started. It'll be a year in a month. We're about 30. It was the 30th into the 1st of June. It was July, 1st of July, 30th of June, and the 1st of July. And so, yeah. And Eric K had no clue about who that was. So I was told yesterday. I didn't really interact with him. I only found out this morning because I saw Echo Base Network post, and I was like, "What is this about?" And then Nicholas Glenn, shout out to Nick, shout out to Coach and Nick, but Nick said, "Hey, Kiki Pixie is a man, baby." Like I said, the only reason I interacted with this person is because I did a bunch of streams. I only saw them on Twitter once, like looking for simps, and there were people simping for him. And I didn't take the bait, thank the Most High. Because, I'm on my semi-MGTOW shit. I'm not really a MGTOW, but I'm just apathetic towards dating right now. Because I have a lot of shit going on. In fact, I'm starting a new job in a couple weeks. Hopefully, I'll actually have a couple week break to do more YouTube stuff potentially, or just take a break. Who knows? But I feel like I've been streaming too much. I feel like it's not really my personality. I'm not a people person. Which maybe you guys picked up on, maybe you're not. And it's time to kind of reel that back in, make myself a little bit more scarce. And hey, I love it. Hey, and tomorrow, not only is the Vigilante Williamson show happening, but I will be on the Rainier Creoles. This is the after school special or the lunch? Cannot remember which show it was, but I have I'm going to. It was a show recorded a few weeks ago, and it's tomorrow on the Rainier Creoles channel. Like I said, Chrissy Mayer was on the podcast today. It was on this channel. There's a lot of things going on, but I think I got to make myself scarce. I got to stream a lot less, and I got to spend a lot of that time spending like making videos. I got to figure a way to make videos. Let's see. All right. I'm not sure. You think Lola Meets was a dude, but no, she's a chick. Who's Lola Meets? I have no idea who Lola Meets. Her EVS told about her. He rips her, but he doesn't care. Who does EVS rip? I think. I'm not sure who her is. I don't know if her is Saggy Melons. I don't know if her is Jared, aka Geeky Pixie. I don't know if her is Chrissy Mayer. So if you can clarify that for me, Gomer. And your big time, just listen to that Peter Gabriel song Big Time. Big Time. I think that's the song. And I know I sung it off key. I sing everything off key. I don't have auto-tune on StreamYards. I can barely StreamYard on StreamYards. Another monster you'll be smart to do. I'm starting on a channel soon. I'm going to be very careful about who I stream and interact with. That's really the thing. And honestly, it's funny you mentioned Eric K. Big Time because I can't tell if it's the normal depression I've had my whole life. I can't tell if it's just the stress of everything going on with work and everything. Can't tell if it's the stress from the channel. But I felt the past few weeks, like I can't tell if anything I do is good. And I'm always semi like 1 foot out of it. Half of the reason of being Vigilante Williamson, not my regular name, and having this mass persona was the potential to end at any time. And then, as I've done this longer and longer, I've been more invested financially, mentally, emotionally. But man, I could stop this at any time, at least in my head. I don't know if I actually could. And yeah, I already read this, but it's the right thing to do. Another monster, I think. I'm not a sub mark, right? I'm not looking for more subs. I get a lot of engagement out of you guys. You guys really do watch a lot of videos. You like a lot of stuff. You guys are really, you're the reason Eric said, "Can I stop just getting rolling?" You Matt, who like I said, he works so fucking hard. He's booked our guests and he's helped us book guests potentially in the future. And I don't want to let anyone down at all. But like Nerdrotic, shout out to Nerdrotic, Gary from Nerdrotic, who's been a huge impact. A lot of you, if you didn't come over from Comics Division, you came over because Gary told you to. 9 times out of 10. And if Nerdrotic wants to stream here, we've been trying to get. We would love to have Nerdrotic on the Culture Crime Fighters. And Pixie and Saggy, I think you meant. So EVS has ripped on. He knew about the Geeky Pixie thing. I didn't know that was even as high up for him to know. Hey, Vince, it's May 26th here. But today was my 3-year anniversary with Melissa. Happy 3-year anniversary. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. That's not easy. And another monster considers me part of his tribe. I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm loved by all, but a lot of people do appreciate me, and I appreciate that appreciation. I do. I appreciate the monetization. You guys have been really supportive. Really, really supportive financially. Eric K is my first super chat. He's my first super chat when I was using the Streamlab things. Now I'm doing the Stream Elements. If you want a super chat, always appreciate it. Not obligated. It's in the description and the bottle spam you if you don't want to check that out. But again, never obligated. Just always appreciate it. If Lola Meese was doing porn, she'd be a big suspect looking. I have no idea who Lola Meese is. And you know what? I don't want to know. I'm cool never knowing. Thank you, guys. Yeah, congrats, man. That is, especially in this day and age. I said this on the podcast earlier. Every girl nowadays has a boyfriend, and at the same time, nobody does. You know what I mean? So you got 3 years. That's a blessing in America. I'm proud of you, brother, and congrats to you. Congrats to you and Mrs. Kyle, so to speak, or Melissa Kyle, because you said her name was Melissa. So congrats. But yeah, it's see. You did that thing. I see. I heard that happen. High school sweetheart in '96 split. 20 years later, met again. Boom. I don't have a high school sweetheart. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to remove it. This is what I meant to do. Stop. So yeah, like I said, semi-MGTOW. It's not even an anti-woman. It's more focused on career. In a couple weeks, I just gave my 2-week notice for my job. In a couple weeks, I'm trying to get an extra week just for stress purposes off in between jobs because this current job wanted me, but it's not the job I wanted. So this job I'm taking is just a stopgap, so to speak. It is not the job I want. It is something I'm taking because my current job has been stressful since day one, 2 years ago, where I took it, and it's been like a nervous breakdown waiting to happen. I have to not be homeless. That's why I kind of say, oh yeah, there's homeless people who are not. I mean, I am mentally ill as fuck, as shit. But like, there's homeless people who are just like job situations. You get into a fucked up job situation, and all of a sudden you end up homeless, and then the mental illness starts. Then the drugs start. So it's not always this is a drugged out, fucked up person, and that's why they're homeless. Sometimes it's a different. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Parrotheads and stuff he sends. But sometimes it's a different mechanism of how that happens. Oh, man. Parrothead, some of the memes, they're pretty brutal. They're pretty, like the chocolate milk one. That's a bit much. Like, I almost feel like I should be offended. And now you're leaving Parrothead. I see how it is. No, I'm just messing with you. Good night. Good night, Perry. I know it's late. Super late. What is it? 12:01. It's 1 o'clock. So I know it's late. I appreciate anyone staying up with me. Appreciate being your Insomniac stream or the West Coast stream for people on the West Coast of the US. Morning stream for people abroad. Just appreciate chilling. That's why I do VW casual. To have a kind of a no pressure stream. No pressure stream. But yeah, I'm not looking to necessarily quit. So sometimes I have to think about it. Like I said, I thought about it ever since before I started. I didn't expect it to get this far. I didn't expect to get 450 subs. 456, like second or third time because YouTube was going to eat those subs. I didn't expect to get that far. So this is all house money to me. I've already totally outdone any expectation I could possibly have. And I appreciate doing this, but I would be shocked at this. But I mean, if this already kind of is a side hustle, to be fair. But I would be shocked if this goes too far. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a consistent means of growth to be 1,000% fair. Because as much as I love doing live streams, this is a video platform. This is absolutely a video platform. This is not a streaming platform. This is a video platform that does streaming. It does not reward live streaming. It rewards videos. It rewards videos that people want to see. It's really emphasizing shorter videos and shorts and all sorts of stuff. And Jesus, YouTube, can you stop doing this? I'm trying to multitask. And it's not letting me scroll. What the hell? What did I do to YouTube? It's something. Sorry, I always do two things at once. I was looking at my other browser and it's not letting me scroll. It just keeps going back and forth. Jesus. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the geeky pixie thing was just like, okay, I'm smart to want to keep my circle small. I'm smart to not want to do as many streams, even streams that I really love. I'm really thinking about taking Comics' break from his streams. He obviously has had hernia surgery last week. He's going to be out for a few weeks. I think he'll still do FNT, but his regular streams Thursday Night Throwdown, which was on my show on my channel last week, and Yelling at Parked Cars, which was Monday, and I just slept through it. Thursday Night Throwdown, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm burnt. I am beyond burnt out. I've been burnt out since before I started the channel, to be fair. And I just don't, again, like the channel is a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. And I don't know that it'll ever grow. And I really genuinely, I genuinely need to figure out what I want to do in my life and where this is supposed to play. If this is just supposed to be something I do for fun, I got to do this a lot less than I'm doing it. But at the same time, I'm doing this very stream because of how therapeutic it is. Probably should be sleeping or doing something else, but I really like streaming. I really like it. So there's that to deal with. I think I just got to get less focused. Like I have to do things to grow, but stop trying to be a YouTuber, so to speak, if that makes sense. Stop worrying about analytics. Stop worrying about trying to impress people. Stop trying to worry about growth. Still do things, but really focus on just having this be fun. Doing this for fun. Because I'll get myself even more burnt out than I'm already going to be from regular life. Another monster says pixies are both male or female. Are they not? Shame on anyone who assumes it's gender. Well, because they had a picture of a woman, that's why we assumed the gender, so to speak. But again, I was not one of the people to flirt. Apparently, this person had news I never saw. I never saw that. That's pretty fucked up. Jens Peter says it's the meats bit. Sounds like meats. Yeah, definitely. Lola is a name used by the lady boys. Just saying the name we use for porn. It would be a toss up on the sex. I've never heard of Lola Meats until this very stream. So I had no idea. And Nick Wise, it was kind of wasted by the end of Monday's stream. Hey, I'm kind of wasted at the beginning of this stream. So there we go. Oof, Gomer Kyle has. Oh God, that sounds terrible. 2 hernias and cannot afford to get them out. It sucks in my no parts. Oh no. I am sorry to hear that. That sounds horrible. I'm sorry. The male pixies look like female a bit. The band was okay. I'm assuming VigilanteWilliamson is a masked vigilante man. Well, I am not a vigilante, so there you go. That's what happens when you assume. Some bitch thought my pick was a Stephen Walton. Fuck that. I'm like 2 feet taller than that goblin. Didn't he just change his name on YouTube? It's like Ladonis. I've seen Ladonis on like his Twitter and Minds and shit, but it's like Ladonis something Wolf, Raven Wolf, I believe. When did that happen? I had pain the last 16 years. So I'm kind of used to it. Holy shit. I don't know how to get used to that, but I've never had a hernia. Thank the Most High. Oh, man. Sheesh. That sounds terrible, Gomer. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, some crazy pagan name. I know he's a pagan or something. But yeah, I jokingly, but I wasn't joking. I don't consider myself a part of the Phantom Menace anymore. And it was actually before the geeky shit, before the geeky pixie thing. I said that a couple days ago. I still consider myself Fandom Menace adjacent. Still like a lot of channels. Man, I don't know how long there's gonna be a Fandom Menace. Maybe I'm just a pessimist. But it's, to me, it's starting to, there's really a lot of cool channels. There's a lot of really strong channels, and then a lot of up and coming channels under it. But does the Phantom Menace even exist? Maybe that's too existential of a question. I mean, it is just a hashtag that I don't even see people use. But to others, it is a real community. It's something that people kind of define themselves by. You talk about Walton; he's the author of Steven, the author of the Phantom Menace. You know what I mean? That's what he considers himself. But yeah. And it was according to Christy. I mean, I love her, but she's testing my love by calling me Steven. LOL. Yeah, vigilantes always claim they're not a vigilante. Well, I'm not. I haven't done anything vigilante-esque, unless you consider this channel to be vigilanteism. I mean, Walton is the Phantom Menace author. My ass. Where was he in 2018 when it started? I need the history. I was there. I see. I don't know where it was, man. I'm late to the party. That's what makes it even worse for me to consider myself Phantom Menace. I'm super late to the party. I only showed up in 2019, not as VigilanteWilliamson, as whatever the hell my other channel was. And just as a normal person, not in a lot of the smaller channels chat, just the bigger channels, just the Nerdrotics, the Doomcocks, Critical Drinker, if you consider him, those type of channels. And, a lot of the Comicsgate-esque channels. And I was just a fan of those. And then I didn't start this channel to be a Phantom Menace channel. Started to just be a channel and then just got in. I happened to be on start to do member streams, and I met a lot of people, and then, that's when my channel started to explode a little bit. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been a lot of stuff. Even Stephen Vaughn himself has been in some of this shit, right? It's just I don't really feel. There's a few people I'm fairly close to. Matt's one of them. Even 24/7 Fusion Media, he's one of them. There's a few people I'm close to. Then there's a lot of other people I like. You know what I mean? Like Culture, like Jake D, who I know has been busy with his regular life. Nick Weiser, a lot of other people. Everyone in the chat, and people are awesome. They're really, really awesome. But at the same time, I don't feel. I'm just not a. I don't necessarily feel loyalty amongst people. And it's not a knock either. I mean, who the hell? None of us have ever met in real life, or at least I haven't met anyone in real life. But I feel like loyalty can only go so far, or the amount of loyalty that people have can only go so far. There is money involved. So that's an issue. And yeah, R5, if you haven't heard, I love that avatar. There was a person named Geeky Pixie whose name's actually Jared. Now they posed as a 20-year-old, they're 34 to 35-year-old white man named Jared, who posed as a 28 to 29-year-old Asian girl named Geeky Pixie. And they actually, apparently, the person they were using pictures of was an underage person, which sucks. And apparently even posted nudes, but I didn't see that. Also, it was just a regular avatar. And now you can look back and see some funny stuff, but I just, my interaction with them, I think I was on a stream. I want to say it was Culture. That's what I think it was. Could have been someone else. Could have been Wes. I streamed with them once. I interacted with them, watching them on Twitch. They had like a VTuber set up, and they were playing, I want to say Final Fantasy VII Remake. I interacted in the chat for like 10 minutes, and then that was it. That was my only interaction with Geeky Pixie the entire time. I saw them fishing for simps like 3 or 4 weeks ago and didn't respond, and that's it. And then come to find out, not a woman, it's a man, baby. So that's the drama with that. But hey, like every fucking week there's some new drama. There was the fucking Tom, what's her name, Mecca thing. Like I talked about Walton, that EVS thing. That was only a few months ago. So there's always something. And it's like, how can this be consistent? And oh man, holy shit, I want to watch one of Pixie's in the week streams a week ago. Yeah. Yeah, this person got to like 700 some odd subs. 700 some odd subs. And wow. Gomaka says all those channels I was talking about didn't have 50K when I found them. Just used to be quiet. And I don't consider myself Fandom Menace. Yeah, anymore. I don't either. I'm Fandom Menace adjacent. But I mean, I'm tired. And then a lot of my views are just not the same. A lot of my views on how to do this YouTube thing, I haven't really done what I wanted to. I need to be more video oriented. But I don't want to stream with everybody, and I don't know everybody. I'm not a people person. I like, hey, Clobby times I stream with him. I want to stream with him more, honestly. Love to stream with Clobby more. Hell, Clobby. That's right, VW. You and Paul Kersey are not vigilantes. You're just two guys that stay in on the nighttime. I very much have someone who stay in the night, but I do not know who Paul Kersey is. Yeah, what's going on with these YouTubers, man? And you know what? That's another reason I think quitting. Like, and not no time soon, but I do wonder, like, man, what is the end game of this? Because this does do something to your mental health. Hell, like I said, I'm streaming here. It's a little bit of like, man, this makes you feel a little bit better, but it's that addictive thing. And yeah, I don't even know how Mary plays into that shit. I really don't. I have a tangential knowledge of it, but just that is happening in front of people shows there's a lack of loyalty somewhere. Because if you can't handle it, within themselves, between behind closed doors, and there's an issue. Regardless of who's at fault or who's more at fault, there's an issue. And yeah, they can all have their drama. I'm staying out of it. Support them all, condemn them all. Yeah, I understand that. Another monster. Buzz, Hell Cinching Dildo. Hell. And you're right, Eric K. You have met Fireball, Jake D, and 32 Flavors, and Nick Wise. And apparently, I think you guys met Man of War 665, Neighbor, the Beast. I think he was apparently there too. What's up, Gomer? Death Wish VE. Not sure what that's. Oh, VW. Death Wish VW. And Clobby will be honored to stream with me again. Yeah, I'd love to stream with you. Classy Vigilante. Shout out to the Warshock. He says he's just dropping by. Since you did what are we chatting about? Chatting about me not considering myself Fandom Menace anymore, and chatting about fucking 35-year-old men posing as young women with younger women pictures, aka Geeky Pixie or Jared. And yeah, you guys did meet Neighbor of the Beast. And so yeah, Paul Kersey. Oh, Charles Bronson. I see. Death Wish. I get it. Oh, I get it. Everything connected. Everything connected. It's been horrible watching how that drama unfolded. These people came to fill the void by how shit entertainment has turned since 2017. Yeah. But you know something? Humans are fucking humans. Humans are humans. You know what? Gomer Kyle, we're wrestling fans, or at least past wrestling fans. How many shoot interviews do exist behind talking about some crazy shit that happened behind the scenes? How many shoot interviews exist? Tons, right? Because and you can find similar things in other industries, in the entertainment industry. I'm sure about your job. You guys, if you anyone who works a job they don't like, or even a job that has some craziness, I'm sure you had a shoot style conversation with either a coworker or a close loved one. That's life. That's life. There's something, that's just kind of how it is. And he says, true. RFR. Lola Meese is pretty cool. Found her through ETEP Wokians, the place to be reviews. I've seen him. If you don't know him, do your favorite, check him out. I've seen his stuff, and I think I'm subbed. I subbed to a lot of people. I think I'm subbed to him. And that's just great control. Hell, Ron Martin, I appreciate it. VW, you're just VW. You do not have to be in a group. Do what you like. Do what you do. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. And it's not disrespect to anyone. It's just I'm not a group guy anyway. It was an unnatural thing. And I'll still do streams with people when I can. But I expect to see a lot less of me in other places. I'll still be doing stuff with Matt. I'm gonna pick my spots. I gotta pick my spots. Gotta pick my spots, man. Oh no worries, another monster. This is a chill stream. Gotta go. You gotta go. Gotta go. Groups form organically. That's the best way to form them. And oh yeah, don't watch TFM channels anymore. It's boring to me. Yes, that's another cinch and doodle. God damn it, I've had these fucking conversations. It's boring to me, always whining about the same old franchises. I do not care anymore. Nothing against the creators, just not interested. I don't want to be CNN with the blue-haired Landwells in Hollywood as my Trump. My God, I can't. When I find something funny, something interesting I want to talk about, I think the Powerpuff Girls is a great example. That shit was so wild that you have to talk about it. It's fun. It's something I can sink my teeth in. Even the John Cena China thing, I was surprised it's a big story, but the real story to me is China. That's something I have a concern with. That's something I want to talk about. And I'm not saying I'm totally uninterested in what's going on with Star Wars. Sometimes I want to say that, but I'm not, despite my best efforts. At the same time, even though I think Kathleen Kennedy, I think Doomcock has something. I don't think he's making shit up. And I never said that he was. And I always said Doomcock is right. That's what I said a few days ago. But I know Doomcock is getting this from somewhere. I know there are people in Lucasfilm who want things to change. But at the same time, I'm not looking to save Star Wars. Only the most high the scriptures can resurrect things. Star Wars is dead. The original trilogies I can still watch and still love. The original trilogy, I should say. Because the prequel trilogy is not original, but that's neither here nor there. Still has its place. There's still lots of Star Wars material I have not seen. I've never seen Clone Wars or Rebels. I have a lot of Star Wars material I could watch if I want to watch Star Wars. I don't need to care about what they're going to do. I don't care if Gina comes back. I think there is people who want her back, but I don't care. I don't fucking care. Because Disney's not going to win me back that way. Disney's going to win me back, if ever, after they've made material, and honestly, all the channels that I respect say, hey, this is good. But I really, this, since you did all this comment has as much to do with how I feel as the drama. I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm doing with this channel. Neurotic said something a while ago, and I tried to touch on this earlier. We said, yeah, you found your voice, Vigilante. That was, and he's a sweet, sweet man for thinking that. That could not be less true. I have no fucking clue what my voice is. Because I don't know what I want to talk about. I started out as a political channel. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to talk about this shit. Because it's too brutal. Even though I still do. But it's too fucked up. Especially realize this Great Reset shit. But I don't know what I want to do. I have no idea what my voice is. And my cause is Eric K. I'm part of Neurotic Fandom Menace. This is not the first stream I've discussed this type of stuff too. Yeah, then you got to hang out with other group people, LOL. Yeah. Paul Kurtz is just a normal guy played by Charles Bronson, whose wife died and kid was upset that he stayed in all night. Where else would he be? See. Sorry, TFM, that's the Fandom Menace. The Fandom Menace. That's a collective of channels, including Nerdrotic, Doomcock, Geeks and Gamers. There's other adjacent channels that I consider like Critical Drinker, a lot of others. Comics Division, all the way down to the Stephen Waltons and the Culture Casinos and the West Moody's and my channel. But even though I'm starting to, like I said, like I'm Fandom Menace adjacent, I'm not sure if I'm Fandom Menace or if I want to be. Not because I don't love the people, but I'm not a group guy anyway. Throwing something positive out there. Last time I was in the States, saw the space shuttle. It was amazing. That's cool. Where are you, Arfar? Where are you from? Or where you at? I want to say Lord of the Rings. I like 9T a bit more. I like it, a bit more than Star Wars. No worries. You know where this is a little bit more worthwhile? Lord of the Rings hasn't been ruined yet. It probably will be soon, but it hasn't happened yet. So there's hope in Lord of the Rings. And you know what? Again, there's nothing. You can make Luke drink as much blue milk or green milk, whatever the fuck it was, as you want. You have Leia float through space. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You cannot take away what those original movies meant. There's nothing you can do. You can't take away what Star Trek meant. You can't take away what Indiana Jones meant, because there's only 3 movies anyway. The 4th one never happened. You can't take away this shit. Now, I don't have to watch any new things. And in fact, franchises need to fucking die anyway. They don't need any more Lord of the Rings. They already made the movies. They don't need. They already made The Hobbit. Even they don't need more Lord of the Rings movie. They don't need reboots. They don't need. We need new franchises. We need new IP. People need to say your drama for your mama. Yeah, need your mama's cooking. To quote Kwame Brown. At the end of the day, it's just all space wizard movies, right? I mean, it has impact. It has impact on us, right? There's a lot of impact. Did I get something on the Twitter? No. Kershey's daughter died in a messed up way too. Talking about Death Wish. Hell Clobber time. Yep, so it's Mobius Azarak. Oh yeah, Avatar. Sorry, missing stuff. Gary always says he's not part of any group, and he's smart to do so. He's smart to do so. He is very smart. Yeah, Gary's not fan. Yeah, he is. He keeps saying he's a hashtag. But I think people still kind of, look at him as a. But you're right. He said that he's not. Watch Drinker, and I'm not sure the Drinker is. Oh, geez, she jumps out of a second floor window that made Paul want to stay at home more. New Zealand, our hell New Zealand, hell Kiwis. Shout out to the Kiwis. Shout out to the Kiwis. But yeah, I gotta figure out if I'm gonna do this, what the fuck am I gonna talk about? I cannot keep complaining about wokies. I can't do it. I can do it once a week. I can make fun of them, but it's like that ain't it, Chief. That really ain't it. And Clobbering Time, that's why you do have your voice. I understand where you're coming from. I love many of those channels that you mentioned. I think they perform a very important function. But my channel is about having fun, and that's the way to do it. This has to be fun. If it's not fun, it starts to become a drag. Stay in a small group of channels. Neurotic, VigilanteWilliamson. Hey, I feel honored. Doomcock Comics, Ryan, Sue and Canal, Clobbering Times, 32 Flavors, like a family, I guess. No worries. That's pretty cool. You know what? We didn't talk about this. I'll probably talk about it on the Vigilante Williamson show tomorrow. What do I think? I think Amazon wasted a shit ton of money. Maybe they'll get a return on investment. I don't know. But I don't think they can develop any of those properties to the extent to get a return on investment. A lot of people are like, oh my God, it's a monopoly of culture. And on some level is right. But if there's any benefit to this damn platform is that you don't need the big boys to make a splash. And the more you have all of these same companies owning all of the same IP doing the exact same thing, you are literally creating your competition. You are literally breeding millions and millions of The Rock's fans to want something else. That's what you're doing. So I think this is a long-term good thing for that reason. Because I don't think Amazon, The Boys was successful. I didn't watch it. I feel like there's a few other. Invincible was obviously very successful. They have, and Lord of the Rings. I think it's going to be a flop, but we'll see. But I don't know. Like Amazon has way more misses than hits. They're the biggest streaming service, but that's not entirely fair to say because most people have their Prime for shipping. I have Prime. It's not because I watch the streaming service. I barely watch it. It's for shipping. So a lot of people pay for Prime for shipping, and the streaming service is tacked on. So they are the biggest streaming service as far as subscribers, but they aren't because I'm sure they don't get the engagement Netflix does. I wouldn't be shocked to see if Disney Plus outranks them in engagement, and surely Hulu as well. And you know what, man? I am going to start talking about a lot of older stuff. We did the Dust Till Dawn stream about a month ago. I want to do more stuff like that. Eric K says VW, talk about what you like then. The Drinker, the Rod talk about older movies and show they love. Yeah, I am going to get into the older stuff. I am going to be older stuff. I've never interacted with an Ash. Ash from Hills versus Babyface would be a good person to talk to about finding your voice. I do. Only interaction with ads was my very first super chat. The day I don't know if the day or the week I created this account. I super chatted Gary and I asked, could I use clips? And I ended up using these clips in video. I should play them. Yeah, and this one.
It's a fucking clown world out there, folks. It's a fucking clown world. People doing dumb fucking shit all the time. Fuck it. Might as well just embrace it.
Yeah. Shout out to Ass. The Boys season 1 is great. It is. I haven't seen it. I heard a lot of good things about it. I like Gary D. Seeing guys. I'm just not interested in what they're selling these days. Glad they're successful though. They're solid guys. I only can't stand the quartering. Don't like that dude. I can't judge any of these, the quartering as a person. I'm not the biggest fan of his channel either. But I do like Nerd Rotted. I do like Doom Cop. I like Critical Drinker. There's other channels that I don't watch. I like Just Some Guy. I like Young Ripper. He's adjacent. Love Young Ripper. Young Ripper has a good platform. Young Ripper, I would like to get to that space. He's opened himself up where he could talk about video games. He can talk about comic books. He can talk about politics. He can talk about news. He's put himself in a place where there's no conversation he can't have that he doesn't want to. He can go on Tim Pool. He can go on Friday Night Tights. And he's one of the few people that can do that expertly. I mean, Quartering obviously has as well. But I mean, yeah. He's opened himself up to talk about whatever the fuck he wants. And that's, if I can get to that point and that's the goal, that would be great. Talk about Keegan Ashura season 3 soon. I haven't watched any anime since Toonami was hot in the early 2000s. That's just the truth. Clobbering Time's not a problem. Watch a lot of without comment. I just like y'all knowledge on things I had no idea about. Hell yeah. Clobbering Times has a great channel. He says he's honored. And sorry if I'm missing chats. Like I said, I did have a little bit to sip before I started the stream. And I may have some throughout the stream. Don't want to get plastered though. D, Gary Drinker, and some others are great because they talk about things they love and they do it so well. They are the best at this, in my opinion. Hell, that's what made Critical Drinker great. That's why I think if there's, the channels I want to model myself off of, Critical Drinker, Young Ripper, another one, Literature Devil. I didn't bring him up. His model, where he only does a few big videos that take a lot of time and then streams the rest, I think is a good model if you can get people to watch your big videos. Once you can get people established that watch those, hour or whatever long videos, you can take your time and then stream the rest of the time. I think that's a good model if you can get it. I forgot Ads in the Drinker. And I like Ads. I still watch Hills versus Babyface at times. And I watch Sports Wars. I'm not a Geeks and Gamers guy, but I do watch Sports Wars. And just another red shirt. I wanted to say Black and White Sports on YouTube. Black and White Sports, I really do love. That's how I felt the Kwame Brown thing, and that's been my favorite thing. And Classic Vigilante says he's not a fan of quartering either. He's just too spammy for me. And he's having a good night. So have a good night, man. Have a good night. All right. Have a good night. Yeah, Young Ripper's a very talented brother. He's also doing the music. I want to do music. I'm hopefully going to have the Wait Down do some videos for me. We'll see how that goes. And let's see. Appreciate that. I'm watching, listen live and without comment. I do too. I think we all can lurk. So, since it just bullshit me to go off the scale when I hear the quartering talk, and I learned to trust it because it saved my ass many times. It's not even that. He just, like when I was sub to him last year, he just destroyed my feed. I just can't. It's just 15 videos by this guy, and they're all subjects that a million other people are covering, and his takes are just what they are before you heard them. No disrespect to the guy. I mean, he's very successful. Since you did saying tonight, Classic Vigilante, he's very successful, very smart how he uses the platform. But that doesn't mean I have to watch everything. But I don't hate him. I don't have like this negative feeling like Central Dildo's talking about. Just like I said, he really does kill the feed, so to speak. Outside this group, my favorite channel, Stitch Together Pictures. He does a horror show called Boots to Reboots, where he compares horror remakes, and if they're bad, he stomps the DVD. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, I think you're a mod at Black and White Sports, or you were at one point, Go Macau. And hell, Latino Slam, one of my favorite channels. Are you doing better? Probably doing worse. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here, Paulie. Appreciate you being here, man. You're cool. Paulie, I've done, I used to when both our channels were a little bit smaller. I used to do a lot more streams with him. I know he's doing a lot of things with obviously Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge in Espanol. And a great channel on his own right. Great channel on his own right. And he's still a mod over at Black and White Sports on YouTube. I love Black and White Sports. Honestly, they're starting to pass Outkick to me. I think Outkick selling was a mistake. And I think it's going to come to pass that was a mistake. I think they should have stayed independent. And man, do they miss Whitlock to me, especially with this Kwame Brown thing. They're talking about everything else except Kwame Brown Outkick. It's like, how the fuck can you miss this? This is like the biggest story on earth. And you're not talking about it. You're talking about some shit. Sports barely matters. And speaking of sports, you know what I'm watching a lot of? I just found it the other week. Classic Tetris. It is the most interesting fucking thing. Interesting thing. And it's taking some of my sports energy. It's like watching it, the competition of it. I'm watching old stuff. I don't just now found about Jonas, rest in peace. I guess the guy only died 4 or 5 months ago, and he's like a 7 or 8 time champion. Which is really fun to watch. Classic, shout out to Classic Tetris. It's a really fun thing. I actually want to start doing some Tetris. I may even do Tetris streams. Who knows? And okay, they have a website too. I'm on there for $20 a month. Dope. Dope to support these independent creators, man. Yeah, I knew you meant these independent creators, these independent media sources. And like I said, now that Outkick has sold, I wish them well. I'm not sure if they're being told to ignore the Kwame Brown story or if they're just ignoring it because Clay Travis is off this week. But yeah, I really like Black and White Sports. They're my favorite. They're my favorite sources of sports news at the moment. I did have Outkick ahead of them, and then Sports Wars and third. I think a lot of us who still pay attention to sports at all check those channels out. But I would pick Black and White Sports. And Outkick and Sports Wars can fight for 2 and 3. I really like Black and White Sports a lot. I watch the recording sometimes. I do not think he even expects everyone to watch everything and only thinks they pick. He does it so much, it would be impossible to watch all. But that's the thing, man. Gary, how many videos a week does Gary have? Like 2 or 3? Maybe 4 or 5 if you can count out Nerd Roddick Daily. But he does so few videos compared, and they're better. They're just better and more interesting, more engaging, and better to watch. Plus live streams. Oh man, Rhodes is awesome. I know Rhodes is cool because he ended up back when Parler was hot. He followed me on Parler, and then of course it got shut down. And I'm like, man, you know, they still had like 60, 70K then, or whatever it was, 50 to 60. No, it was like 60. It had to be over 60 at that point. And just the fact that he would follow me, I think I had 100 subs. He's like, yeah, follow me. Just like Echo Base followed me when I had 100 subs. That's how they show up in the chat. People are cool. Rose Rants. I had him use the clip of him in the video when I talked about fucking baseball. You want to talk about, yeah, I know Perry Chan is technically in there. Nerd Rider Daily is technically Perry Chan. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Even if you count that channel along with Nerd Roddick's main channel, it's significantly less than the quartering per week and significantly easier to watch and catch most of the videos as a result. You watch Powerpuff Girls, Kicking the Shore is one of the best things I've ever seen. So you know it'll be masculine action that is good to me. You know, I might check it out then. I know how much you love masculine stuff. And wow, you found them at 300 subs. Proud of my guys. You know what? Good for them, man. They really, really, really put a lot of work into that channel. They've really worked hard over the past year after exploding. They just kept it going. I really wish I could produce content at a quicker rate. And like the Valkyries too, the OGs from the early Doomcock days. Okay. You know, I've seen them sometimes on Loki stuff and some of their stuff all the time. I'm not super deep into it, but it's dope. Baseball nut, says Paulie. Yeah, that's why I was so happy about the Dodgers winning recently. Stay in the box scores, no politics. Baseball, I mean, it's not completely politics free. No sports is nowadays. But it's been pretty, you know, when it very first started back in the COOF lockdown last year, they tried their little wokeness. But they've been pretty anti-woke. I know the stadiums have opened up. I've been catching some like game, like YouTube, they'll have like a highlights, which is kind of a shortened game, 10 minutes. See the game in 10 minutes. I've been catching some of that. Watching the Tigers fail. Whatever. I still love them. Modern NFL is dead to me. I love the old YouTube channels that put the old NFL films videos and old NFL games in their entirety. I've watched a lot of old basketball, old NFL. Great stuff. Watch them almost every night. You want to know something about really all these sports? And maybe people will hate to hear this. Wokeness is not what's killing them. I think wokeness is the final straw. But all of these sports that we're talking about, baseball included, they change their very nature of why we like them, especially the NFL and the NBA. And this is going just a few years back. The rule changes. When you talk about the NFL, look at the quarterback yardage that you get the past decade, and compare that to any other era. What Dan Marino did, or Warren Moon did, even John Elway, those numbers stood out because of how impressive they were, because of the violence of the game at the time. And I'm not saying, hey, the head injury thing even hit my man Megatron. That was a huge reason he retired. I'm not saying that you should just ignore people's health, but you could just not lie to your players when they have a fucking concussion, NFL. If you didn't do that for 40 fucking years or whatever it was, maybe that would be part of it. But man, there's no safer cigarette. And the more you soften it up and make it just a guy throwing the receivers, it's like, I don't want to watch this sport. This isn't the sport I grew up on. It's not. I see moments of it, but it's not. So I don't want to watch it. Basketball, just a bunch of guys shooting threes. There's some highlights, some cool stuff to watch. But man, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I started to watch. And if anyone tries to tell you basketball is not more physical, or because I saw some video, oh, it's not really that much more physical than the 80s, 90s. Bullshit. I was watching what game was it? And I actually showed a good portion. It wasn't the whole game, but a good hour of a fucking 76ers Celtics in the 80s. Fucking, was it Vernon Maxwell gets into a fight in the stands. He doesn't get kicked out the game. Because it was the 80s. There was no lawsuits back then. It was, oh, he shouldn't have gotten in a fight. But that was it. It was so much more violent, so much more physical. But the players decided. It wasn't no one, oh, the refs called. No, they were physical play. Everybody played more physical, and it was a funner game to watch because of it. Old NFL games, old NFL film shows from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s are pure arts. NFL films were so incredible. Shout out to the Sable family. Holy smokes, NFL films. What's my man, Voice of God? I can't think of his name, and I can mispronounce it. But goodness. Yeah, like the NFL, if you watch it, the 70s film, the Steelers, great teams aren't always great. They're only great when they have to be, and they show the Steelers come back. Like it's so much good stuff. Or they used to do the thing where they would do like pick a team. Like, do you care about the 77 Atlanta Falcons? Probably not. But if you watch the NFL film about the 77 Atlanta Falcons, it would be so compelling. So compelling. Like, of the era film. Because they used to do shit for all these teams. Used to be on NFL Network back, and they may still be. I don't have the cable. And it used to also be on ESPN Classic. NFL is like WWE, not good anymore. Both have their classic vids on here. It's nice of them, but it's a bad thing for them because it makes people realize how shit they are today. Fuck. I mean, the same thing happened with the Last Dance. It outranked or outrated the NBA Finals. And baseball has turned into soccer as far as the acting, Eric K says. I know that fucking this launch angle shit and all the shift and all this other shit really takes me out of the game. I got a hot take about baseball. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. Maybe people do. The steroid era was better. There, I said it. Steroid era was way more interesting. It was way better. And despite everyone being on juice, we had a more diverse style of play. It wasn't just home runs and strikeouts, even though there was a lot of home runs and strikeouts. But you had singles hit. Like Ichiro played in the steroid era. You had a lot. Torrey Hunter played in the steroid era. He was more of a defensive guy. He can still hit, but you know what I mean. There were other players and other things to watch outside of home runs and strikeouts. And watch, cool. Yes, United, Staubach, Montana, Marino, Elway, all play at a time where QBs take real hits, unlike today. He used to get killed. They used to really get killed. John Vicenda, there we go. The voice of God. Yeah, John Vicenda. Excellent. Excellent voice. Rest in peace, brother. Gay rugby. That's what it kind of is, man. It's too soft. And I hate to say that. I would have rather, instead of all these precautions, go to less games, go back to 14-game seasons. They won't do that because of money, but like that would protect the players. And Ed and Steve Sable were sheer master filmmakers. They were excellent filmmakers. Excellent filmmakers. Basketball is virtue signaling now. LeBron's the biggest reason it's dying. It's not just LeBron. I mean, a lot of people blame him, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the end of his career. He only has a couple years left. They have a lot of young stars, a lot of young players with talent. They have lost their way so bad marketing, and the wokeness has been a terrible thing. But LeBron's an employee, and I think he gets a lot of Adam Silver's blame. As far as I see it, doesn't mean you shouldn't blame LeBron or he doesn't talk a lot of crazy shit, but he does so as an employee of Nike and as an employee of the NBA. So he gets a lot of Phil Knight's and Adam Silver's blame, which is his job, to be fair. That's why they're paying him the big bucks. But like a lot of the stuff he does and said, he didn't come up with. And I'm not saying you shouldn't hate him, but make sure you hate everyone else too. And then again, LeBron's going to be done in 2 or 3 years. Love my Nashville Predators. Hockey's not woke. Hockey stayed away from that. Hockey and UFC have been smart. UFC allowed, woke people to talk, but they allow everyone to talk. And it evens itself out and creates, compelling dynamics. Sometimes the conservative type people are getting this shit knocked in. Sometimes the liberal type people are getting this shit knocked in because people get their shit knocked in UFC, and it's great. And since you did, this is what I feel about baseball, man. I know I'm not trying to mess with anyone's liver. I'm not trying to mess with anyone's heart. I don't want people to die. I don't want people to get hurt. But, brother, it was a funner game to watch. That's all I'm saying. It was a much funner game to watch. And you know what? The NBA has a steroid or a PED issue because it's not really steroids. A lot of EPO, a lot of HGH. And they just, if you think that guys can just launch 40-foot threes like consistently at a high clip and just have the endurance for that, and that's just naturally, man. I mean, I got my questions on that. For the NBA. Remember back in the day, great players you always respected? Not so much now. Half the people have zero respect for LaChina, fake acting, getting every call. Yeah. Ooh, Clobby, I would love to talk NFL history. I mean, back when I was a little vigilante, I wanted to be a sportscaster. I really wanted to be Jim Rome. I want that, even that time slot when I was a kid, and I listened to Jim Rohn. He had that right mix of comedy and kind of an edge and sports talk. Now he's gone woke and soft, which is terrible. He's gone soy, so to speak. I see this comment. And yeah, back in the day, you tune in for Dominique, Magic, Bird, Jordan. On your team or not, had mad respect. And just remember the 90s when I grew up. Oh my God, basketball was the shit. And even though Jordan won all those titles, all these other teams people love. People love the Charlotte Hornets, the Indiana Pacers. Indiana, that's what I'm trying to say. Indiana Pacers, Utah Jazz. People were fans of the Seattle Supersonics, whether you're from Seattle or not. You love these teams in different combinations. You want to see games in the regular season. Do you remember when the regular season mattered in the NBA? When it was like, oh shit, it's Sunday, NBC. And it's just the fucking Indiana Pacers versus the Seattle Supersonics. Jordan's not even involved. And people wanted to fucking watch that. Houston Rockets versus Phoenix Suns. We get to see Barkley versus Olajuwon. And it's just fucking Tuesday in February. Like, oh shit, let's watch this. Not now. If it was soy, I would be saying don't watch. But Keegan Ashura, don't make you get hyped for season 3. I will eat my soy hat. I'll have to get one to eat. Okay, yes. I gotta check out Keegan Ashura. You're really pushing it. I gotta check that out. If we have Charles Barkley, he ain't scared to say anything. I don't always agree, but respect. Now we may have Kwame Brown. You may not agree with everything in hell. I don't think I do. But man, he's speaking his mind, and he's got a lot to say. I want to do a video on him. I want to be Dan Patrick, and now he's Dan Pandering. Yeah, he's a guy who's fallen off. You remember when he first left ESPN, that Dan Patrick show just started? He was pretty good. He had a really good dynamic with what he was doing. Pretty good. So true. Where Charles, you know where Charles is coming from, even if you do not agree. Very true. And you know what? For what it's worth, I think Charles is more true to himself. And that's all you can ask of someone. Be true to yourself. I'm not going to always agree with you. And it's not for a man to agree with everyone all the damn time. A lot of people need to learn that. It's not for everyone to agree. But you can respect somebody or what they say. And yeah, that was really good entertainment. Sports was such a part of the mythos of pop culture. And as much as wokeness gets blamed, a lot of it predated wokeness. I mean, if you look at how loyal sports fans have been historically, it took I don't know if everyone knows, Darius is not here, but like people don't realize how loyal fucking Lions fans were. It took a 0-16 season for them to stop selling out that damn Ford Field. Don't you know they were like, I want to say 0-5 or 6 and still selling that motherfucker out? It took them like getting late into that 0-16 season to stop selling that motherfucker out, because people like football. People will go through a lot of shit. I mean, wokeness, this isn't even the first run-in with wokeness. This is the most intense run-in with wokeness. But this isn't the first run-in with politics and stuff like that. But once you affect the nature of the sport, where I am already watching a different game when it comes to the NBA or the NFL relative to what I watched even 10 or 15 years ago. When you add wokeness to it, and you add politics to it, and you add all this shit that I don't feel like dealing with, and then you force all the players. And you know what? I wanted to say, and this is actually Kwame Brown. Gomer Kyle says Kwame's burning it down. He has a podcast, and it's an older one. It's not one of the more recent ones that everyone's gotten hot about. But he's been doing this channel for over a year. People don't even realize that. People think he just started. No, he's been doing this channel for over a year, and then this beef started. Look, but he was talking about, because he's actually a guy. He's a Trump. You know, he you could tell he voted for Trump. He's more of a conservative. He talks about Candace Owens and Larry Elder. But I don't think he's a hardcore conservative, which he shouldn't be. He says he cares more about issues than anything. But he was talking to conservatives, saying, "Listen, I know a lot of people are mad at the NBA." But he brought it down. He said, "Do you know how many 6th man and 12th man? Like, imagine you're the 12th man who gets this small contract, and you get in, and now you're the 12th man on the bench. You get to play in the playoffs, and you may have all the members of your family may be military people, but you're gonna struggle through D League, through China, everything to get to the NBA. When that national anthem comes on, you're gonna kneel down because you need to feed your family." And I think, and we just saw, I don't know if you guys know another NBA story. Kemba Walker had a "Don't Tread on Me" shirt. The perception is everybody in the NBA is woke. They all follow LeBron. Da, 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 da. It's like, listen, sir, they have to. Look what happened to Jonathan Isaac. If you think he was the only person who wanted to stand for that anthem, I have a bridge in Brooklyn that's on sale. There's no way he was the only person who wanted to stand for that anthem. There's just no way. But there were a lot of people who just couldn't, who didn't want to smoke. And you can say maybe they should have, but you know what? There's, that 12th man on the bench, those last 2 guys on the bench contingent, a lot of those guys are just happy to be there. They're not going to ruffle feathers. And yes, I do remember when Jim Everett, not Jim Rome on his ass, Chris Everett. You call me Chris one more time. Okay, Chris. And he beat his ass. That was great. I think Jim Rome was embarrassed by that. I just thought that was great. That's the 90s. That was great. That was awesome. Stopped watching the NBA after the 90s. Sometimes I watch the finals after that, but rarely. There were some runs in the 2000s that were cool. You missed the Kobe era, and there was some cool stuff to watch in the Kobe and the Duncan era. And the Pistons won a title in 2004 and were competitive throughout the 2000s. There was some still cool stuff. And yeah, Kwame is indeed burning it down. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch a lot of people who. It's fun to watch a lot of people eat crow, It's also fun to watch and see how connected things are. What started off as a beef between a guy and a podcast, ended up having ESPN involved, and TMZ Sports involved, fucking the Breakfast Club, and all these other channels. Everybody else is involved, and it just got more and more intense. And Kwabi got proved more and more right. They were trying to slander him, saying violence, bringing up things that he even know about some of his family members. It's really messy. But it's been interesting to watch. And Eric K would tune in for NFL VW Klobby stream. That would be awesome. We got to do it. And Clyde Time says, excellent. It will be fun. It would. And I'm happy football. I'm assuming European football didn't go woke. At least on the continent didn't. UK went fully woke hard. Yeah, I thought there was some wokeness in UK football. I watched the Dan Patrick show for years, and in 2019, I got a DP calendar for Christmas. After that woke BS last year, I took it down, shaking my head. Yeah. It's Gnarls Barkley, Indie Comics Jones, but I appreciate you being here. I like that crazy song that Charles Barkley does, LOL. That's CeeLo. It's Gnarls Barkley. Matter of fact, do I have the CeeLo drop? I don't know why I don't have that. I should. I need to add that in. But yeah, Gnarls, which is funny. So I didn't see 2020 Dan Patrick. Did he go full woke tard? That's sad. And yeah, peer pressure and shit, referring to the players not wanting to stand. Yeah, he called him Chrissy, and Jim Everett should have beat the hell out of him. He was going to. That he was on the path to killing Jim Rome in front of everybody. He was on the path to killing everyone, killing Jim Rome in front of everybody, but the security and everybody broke it up. The reason I consider it awesome, though, is because, listen, Jim Rome was already calling this man Chris, and you're right, is fucking disrespectful. Chrissy Everett, for those who don't remember, is a female tennis player. And the reason I almost didn't take sides and still don't is like, I kind of respect Jim Rome for saying, you know what? I'm not about to. How many times do you see people pander to someone they criticize when they're in front of their face? He's like, you know what? I call you fucking Chris all the time. I'm not about to stop now. That was his edgelord thing. And at the same time, you got to respect Jim Everett for saying, you don't call me Chris, motherfucker. I'm going to fuck you up. So it's just, like I said, men don't always agree. It's just how it is sometimes. Oh, got to see one of the great ones. VigilanteWilliamson, referring to me. So I once got to see Barry Sanders play against my Saints in the Superdome. The Dome Patrol held him below 20 yards in that game. Still, it was cool to see him play. Here's the thing about Barry Sanders. As great as he was, he lost, 1,600 yards in his career because he hated – he was always trying to make the big play, and there's a lot of plays that he missed because of it. Even though I think he's the most spectacular running back, I don't think he's the greatest because I think there's running backs who are more complete. Oh, yeah, didn't watch NFL last year. I didn't either. But I would love to talk. So I'm on a Klobby and VW stream as well. Yes, CeeLo Green is what I'm talking about, of Goody Mob and Dungeon Family fame. Shout out to CeeLo. That was right before Everett was traded to my Saints. Actually, I thought was it right before or right after? Babe, you might be right. He played very well his first year. Then the idiots in the front office trade his best weapons away, and a career change. Yeah, the front office have killed a lot of stuff. Hell to wake now. It says, damn, I feel bad for missing half the show now. Oh, don't feel bad, man. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. And sup TWD or the wait down? Yeah. Dumped the NFL last year after 50 years of loving it, man. You know what, though? I dumped the NFL when Calvin Johnson retired. That hurt. That really hurt. And rule changes. Everybody throwing 5,000 yards, and it's just, running backs have always been expendable, and there are still some great running backs, but they got more and more expendable, and it just became like it's not the same game I like watching. And the Danis are worse than Dan is. There's a little snowflake named Sinton. He was calling Trump supporters. Guess what? Yassi's Jesus. Is it Seaton? I used to watch that show, and I can't remember everyone. I remember Paulie. I forgot everybody else, though. And yeah, it was pure disrespect. He was a real good QB with just no weapons, but at the same time, I mean, it's sports talk radio. You're kind of disrespectful to athletes. Maybe you should be less. You know what? Kwame Brown has got me feeling like we need to be just a tad more respectful to athletes because it's really hard to do. It's really fucking hard to get into a major sports league. But again, would it have been better for him to pander to the guy that he's been criticizing? Really, he shouldn't have had him on the show. That's the real honest answer. If you feel that way about somebody's play, to bring them on the show in a live setting is a stupid idea if you're going to stick to your gun. That's the actual answer. Just don't do it. And that must have hurt Clobbering. Talking about the NFL thing. Yeah, the No Fun League. Hail Andy Comics Jones. Got to see you here. Yeah, Megatron. Calvin Johnson. Love him, man. Great player, great guy. The Lions did him wrong. They still owe him money. They're pieces of shit for that. And looks like I missed an interesting conversation on the state of our corner on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I talked about the Geeky Pixie thing earlier and why, that's one of many reasons why I want to just chill from streaming with everybody. And I've done a lot of streams with a lot of people, but I'm not saying none of that is going to happen, but it's going to be a lot less. Gomer Costas, loved it since I was 8, so 34 years. Man, I loved it since 98, 90. It was like 8 or no, it was like 10. It's 10. So yeah, 97, 98 is when I really got into it as a kid. The NFL lost when Jim Thorpe was retired. I'm not sure you were born when Jim Thorpe retired, Eric Hay. That's true about Sanders, but in fairness, Barry never played with any top QBs, Scott Mitchell, Eric Kramer, so on. Yeah. Scott Mitchell, was he the most successful QB he had, or was it Eric? Who did he have? And that was a little bit before I was watching, but I know of it. It was like, I want to say 91 at the run and shoot offense. Shout out to Herman Moore. He was a great receiver that Barry played with. He was a really good receiver. I mean, it was another cool dude, another guy that you would do a lot of stuff for the kids and shit like that. Herman Moore. Shout out to Herman Moore. But in 91 season, I think we went 13-3, made to the conference finals, conference championship, and lost. So yeah, that was the only playoff win we had for like 100 years almost, or since whenever that damn curse of oh my god, Bobby Lane. I'm like, there's somebody with that name. So yeah, I can't remember if it was Scott Mitchell or Eric Kramer. Who we have later in this last few years? Charlie Batch. Yeah. Good morning. Wait, that is morning. What is it? Almost 2:00. Sheesh. Still up. What am I doing? Megatron was a fantasy football player dream. As much as fantasy football is probably a gift, it's also a curse. Because that's another thing that added to football. It's like, hey, does anyone care about who wins? Like, nah, just whoever has the most yards and all this other shit. And Wake Down says he'll have to rewatch later. It'll show me the live chat. LOL. Yeah, it does show you the live chat. Yep, Bobby Lane number 22. He was Alky. He was a get drunk. You could do that back in those days. You could just get drunk, hop on the field, sling the ball around, and win. And Clobby thinks Kramer got us in. I think you're right. I really think you're right. I think Scott Mitchell was mid-90s. And his offense, you know what? Barry Sanders never had. He had. I don't want to say his offensive lines were nowhere near what Emmitt Smith had to run behind. Obviously, Emmitt Smith probably ran behind the greatest offensive line of all time, all things considered. But at the same time, man, that play style was a gift and a curse. And you know something else? Barry Sanders could not catch. He could not catch to save his life. And got my first UT shirt when I was 8 as well. I love those terrible balls. But we got a natty. Yeah, guys did get a natty in 98. Drafted David Boston one year. He did 0 for me. He only had one hot year. He only had one really good year. And so if you drafted him the next year, I think he went to the because he had a good year, maybe 2. He may have had 2 good years for the Cardinals. Then he went to the Chargers and totally bombed. There's a video, what's my Flimlo Raps. You guys want to see a guy who does a lot of videos on NFL players, former NFL players. He explains what happened to David Boston. It was the steroids issue. This guy he literally got addicted to taking steroids, mentally addicted to them. And he got worse because of steroids because he got so fucking big his body couldn't handle it. So he got addicted to taking steroids and it fucked up his career. And Gomer Kyle quit playing fantasy football anyways, which I'm sure a lot of people did. Yeah, Herman Moore and Calvin Johnson, two great receivers. Herman Moore doesn't get the credit. I don't know if he made it to the Hall of Fame. Probably not. But he was a really good receiver. Really, he had I want to say a few hundred receptions years back before that happened, like all the damn time. And I want to say he, for the longest time, had the record for receptions. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Slayman Sammy Ball was great. Eric K, did you watch a lot of NFL film highlights? Man, when they were on ESPN Classic back in the early 2000s, I used to love that shit. I used to love watching classic games. Oh shit, this is it. What? Yeah, I love Camp Low. I like Ski Beats. He was original. Was he original flavor back then? Or was he Ski? Nice Ski Beats, but he did a lot of production. I know Lucchini is like their biggest hit. But yeah, I do. I haven't listened to that album. That album is actually pretty solid. It's been a while since I listened to that whole album. I like Ski's production on it. It's really cool. And they got a different flow. You remember when rap was that original? You had so many different vibes going on. And you know what? You may have it now. I don't listen to everything out of the ground. Who knows? Maybe I'll add to it. I'm working on some music, like I said earlier. But yeah, they never got the recognition. But they had some good music. They had some really good music. And a really good vibe and a really good sound. And David Boston looked strange with such a big body on a skinny ankles and wrists because that wasn't natural. That's what happens. He literally got addicted to steroids. Literally addicted. Yeah, Uptown Saturday Night. Yeah. So it's kind of a concept album almost because they really are heavy into the 70s vibe. And that movie, the vibe of that movie, Uptown Saturday Night, which is that the one that or the origin of Biggie Smalls, or is it Let's Do It Again? Because one of them is where that name came from. It's why Biggie Smalls was the Notorious B.I.G., by the way, because he couldn't use the name for copyright reasons. And Otto Graham, what did he get? 9 championships in 10 years? Wow. And there's a pic going around. It says Go Macau of Chris Hemsworth showing around his little legs. Chris Hemsworth, another roid guy. And, I'm saying all this stuff. Yeah, the steroid era was probably the best era of baseball to me. I have a totally different vibe about steroids than I did when I was younger, because the media really tells you steroids wrong, and I'm not saying do them or that they didn't help, or they don't hurt. Like I said, David Boston had a mental thing, and he did steroids so he got so big he couldn't stay healthy. It hurt his health. But man, now that we're in the era where the rando on Instascam has the steroids, where the rando thought is on Anavar and the rando guy is on HGH and test to take ad pictures for Insta, it's a different feel, right? Because it's not back then. Steroids had this mystique in the shadow, and what the fuck were they? But fucking the bodybuilding craze of the 10s happened where the Insta scam blew up steroid use and blew up and made it normalized it to a great extent. So it's like, how do you sit there and say, okay, this pro athlete shouldn't be on steroids, but the random guy at the gym, he's on gear? Like, well, I mean, yeah. 222. Yep, they got their names Sonny Chiba and Geechee Suade. And shout out to Geechee. Shout out to the Geechees in the Carolinas. Kwame Brown. My mama's cooking. Yeah. Puff Daddy got his name from Biggie Smalls because he was the guy going around puffing dudes. Yeah, P. Diddy is an even more gay name. Well, Puffy is indeed. Has he officially come out as being gay or bi? Because he is, man. And I've known that since, I could just tell, man. I wouldn't have a problem with that if he wasn't graping guys. That's the problem. And so Clobby says it was 7 out of 10 championships, something like that. Another guy, different sport, Bill Russell did, what was it, 11 out of 13? And I think he went to 12 finals. Incredible stuff. And I know there was less teams back then, so it's a little easier to do that, but it's just like, how often do you see the best team in a sport lose? We had the it was 16-1 Patriots. It was supposed to be 17-0. They losing the Super Bowl. You had the Warriors 73-9 losing the finals. The baseball, if you guys remember that fucking Mariners team in the early 2000s, that great Mariners team, fucking loaded. They had all those damn wins that year. I think it's 2001. I want to say it's 2001 because I think it was Ichiro's rookie year. Correct me if I say something wrong. Great team. I think Randy Johnson was still there. Prime A-Rod, prime Ichiro. I feel like I'm leaving players out. They had a lot of loaded team. Won a bunch of games, didn't win a title. Even the Tigers, the fucking late aughts teams. We had Scherzer, we had Verlander, had Prime Miguel Cabrera. Depending on the year, earlier on, I think before we had Scherzer, honestly. But we had Mags and Pudge still there. Never won a title. It's hard for the best team to win a title. So I don't care if you're 8 teams or whatever it is in some older era. You win a bunch of titles, that's impressive. There's something about being the best team, having that pressure and saying, nope, we're still gonna fucking win. And you gotta be impressed. That's what made Jordan impressive. 6 for 6. It's hard to be the best team and still be the best team. And you gotta give him credit for that. But you know, as much fun as I'm having, probably should go to bed. This has been a cool chat. Everybody's showing up. That's why I like doing this VW casual. It's a different vibe. We can just, talk. I talked a little bit about and yeah, you're right, Jens. You don't have to do Royce to get a good body or big. It's just harder. Yeah. I agree with that. But a lot of people don't want to wait. Ooh, Bill Russell was the man, great team. Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest player on time. They changed the rules to slow him down. Not this weak-ass stuff given the call. 7-1. A legit 7-1, by the way. A legit 7-1, maybe 7-2. Look at him stand next to Shaquille O'Neal. Look at when he was older. You can see him stand next to, I think, Shaquille O'Neal and Olajuwon, I want to say. Or maybe it was Dave Ryan. It was some event, either All-Star game or something, and he dwarfs those motherfuckers. He is so big. He was so big. Look at those highlights of him and Bill Russell. There's a highlight of Bill Russell jumping over a motherfucker's head. I gotta find it. People disrespect Bill Russell. Another thing about Bill Russell and Wilt, a lot of people will tell you, oh man, those Celtic teams were so great. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. A lot of those motherfuckers made it to the Hall of Fame off Bill Russell's name. And Wilt Chamberlain wasn't playing with scrubs either. He's playing with Hal Greer and shit. He's playing with Hall of Famers. And I got to find Bill Russell jumping over a nigga. Oh, I should say that word. He jumps over a motherfucker's head. And let me see. And Bill, jump over guy. This is insane. These guys were, I think it has something to do with nutrition, but the athletes back then, I think, were more athletic. People think people are more athletic now, but then you see stuff and it's like, that doesn't look real. That doesn't look real at all. So let's show Bill Russell, who I think he's one of the most underrated players of all time. There's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame on that Celtics team that couldn't average more than 15 points. And they were great on the air. And no, Wilt was incredible. Able to touch the top of the backboard. I think he had a 40-some-odd inch vertical. Fucking great long jumper. Great athlete. Only God knows how fast he was. But I think a lot of it has to do with the nutrition. Like nowadays, people say, oh, we know more about nutrition, but our food is shittier, dude. An apple now has, 50 times less nutrition than it did 50, 60 years ago. Same with all the meat. They didn't fuck up all the meat like they did. These kids, back in the day, they grew up on like real food. Even the most, detailed oriented athlete now is still eating shit compared to what they ate back then. And it was less chemicals, less stress. But I don't know if you guys can hear it. But look at this shit. Clear over a motherfucker's head from the free throw line. This is Bill Russell. I know it's a grainy headline highlight. I'll show it again. Grabs the rebound, dribbles coast to coast, jumps almost free throw line over a motherfucker, floats. He could have dunked it. It's incredible. Yeah. Jerry West is another one. Jerry West is an underrated player. They didn't have a 3-point line. I know this is not Jerry West, it's actually an era later. Pistol Pete in college. He's already the scoring average leader and the scoring leader all time in college, Pistol Pete Maravich. But I believe they did a shot chart and said he would have averaged like 60 points because of how many shots he took that are now considered threes. It's something stupid like that. And yeah, Wilt was a track and field athlete just off the world record high school high jump. He was an incredible athlete. An incredible athlete. There's a story, and I don't know how true it is, of Wilt Chamberlain in his 50s or whatever age he is in the 80s, beating in a pickup game the Los Angeles Lakers with like 4 or 5 guys. I think it's 4, obviously. 4 guys from, I want to say UCLA. This is a legend, the legend of Wilt Chamberlain, that they're playing a pickup game. Wilt Chamberlain and 4 guys from UCLA, college team, are playing the Los Angeles Lakers in the 80s and apparently beat them in a pickup game. I don't know if it's true, but it's part of the myth that is Wilt Chamberlain. And this is where that Bill Burr about white boys in the NBA come from. But you know, another thing, there were a lot of black people in the 60s playing in the NBA. I want to say they were already at one point over 50% black. So the idea that it's just a bunch of slow white milkmen. And fucking Bob Pettit was nice. The fuck? And yes, there was K-Dog, aka Conan, from WCW. I watch a lot of Keeping It 100. I've been watching a lot of that recently, ever since WrestleMania just came across. And I used to watch it back in the day or listen to it, but I've been watching a lot of that, so that's why that showed up. And Pistol Pete was amazing. Pistol Pete, you know, you want to talk about a player who would just translate so well. I mean, you know, he got a lot more traveling calls with a lot of his stuff. And, you know, they don't even call that shit anymore. And a lot of crazy handles that people do now, he would definitely translate, you know. James Harden basically stole his game. And hell, Mando Merck, greetings. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, Wilt used to bitch 500 pounds when he was 59. Here he was doing, still doing 45. Jesus. More than Shaq could ever cook. Shaq never trained. Shaq didn't train as hard as I'm telling you now, Shaq in his prime never trained as hard as Wilt did back in the 60s. With shitty ass equipment, 60s equipment. He never trained. He said it himself. Shaq said, "Oh, I'm not trained to dunk." And that's why you weren't one of the great. I mean, he's still a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest. Top 20. I'll say top 12 player, Shaq. But he could have been number 1 overall. And he didn't train enough for that to be. You guys remember Shaq in 2000? He was unstoppable. Closest thing to what we ever saw. Sup, y'all? Relax. I'm here again. I appreciate it. Wilt Chamberlain also has more DNA out there, the kids, than Genghis Khan. I'm sure a lot of NBA players are Wilt's kids and have been throughout history. I'm just sure of it. I'm 100% sure. 59 could bench 465. Okay, that's what it was. 460. I thought you meant he was doing 500, like 45. That's insane. Okay. He was talking about white boys being dunked on. Are you tired of having balls in your face? You know something about being dunked on too? I know it's supposed to end, but you guys got me going. Any great defender worth his salt gets dunked on. That should be a badge of honor. Now it's an embarrassing moment. But defense is a lot worse because of Instascam. Because people don't want to be on Instascam getting dunked on. But man, people used to get great defenders got dunked on all the time. We talk about Wilt Chamberlain. When fucking Kareem comes in the league, he dunks on Wilt a bunch. That's just how it is. If you're a great player, you're a great defensive player, great shot blocker, you're going to get, a great defensive player, you're probably going to get crossed up and dunked on because that's what you have to be a good defensive player. You got to be willing to deal with it. So it's not just the white boys having nuts in their face. And anybody who cares about the game is going to have nuts in their face. And you just got to take it with a grain of salt and keep going. Keep going. I always knew, I knew you knew where I went. It was good. Oh, CLB. What's CLB? I'm out of the loop. You knew where I went. It was good. I found footage film from 1989. I can bench 465, but I choose not to. I identify as a guy who can bench 465. Jesus. I know he goes in on 12 my time. I'll watch the replay. Pete is good people. I don't know what CLB is. Hopefully you guys will let me know in the chat. But yeah, a lot of those older players in the NBA get kind of shat on. I think a lot of their skills will translate now. A lot of them would. And the game was just not refereed. They allow so much more physicality in the game, and I'm sorry that made it better because it's the amount of free throws we see just slows the pace down and slows the momentum down. Creepy Little Book. I've never heard of Creepy Little Book until right now. Never. So I mean, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Hell to wake down saying LOL. But the amount of free throws they now slows the pace down. It makes it hard to watch. It's a much harder to watch game. But they wanted more scoring. We just want to see more points. People just like scoring, right? Well, no, we really like the push and pull. We like seeing dunks, but that's because we've seen great defense be broken down and physical defense where you literally cannot touch players, and you were allowed to touch players. Like there's a fucking people always talk about Jordan pushing off on that last shot with the Bulls. Does anybody remember Reggie Miller basically knocking Jordan's ass? He pushed him with all his fucking might before he hit a three to win the game, and I want to say the conference finals. I think they touched on it in the Last Dance. That's just how it fucking was. There was a lot of physicality. Another monster's telling me about Creepy Little Book. He says he does UFO supernatural stuff every night. Oh man, I want to check it out. Sounds like it's my alley. I have seen some internet unfamiliar. He does a wacky stream on Sunday night. I think I'm subbed to him. But I'll check out Creepy Little Book. Yeah, the number 3-pointers is excessive. And it's really ruined the game. It's really ruined the game because it's taken away the variance in play styles, the variance in team play styles, the variance in individual play styles. As much as I love Bo, I don't know if you guys have seen him. He plays for the Nuggets. He doesn't get enough PT. He's 7'2". He can handle. He can shoot. But now it's like, well, what centers are going to be centers now? Well, no one. That's how it is. Even, a guy who probably is the MVP. He's a wide boy. He's a European wide boy, by the way. Since you did, though, my man, Nikola Jokic, he probably should be MVP. And he's one of the most innovative centers. He's a center playing point guard type thing, or he's a point guard playing center, whatever. And that's cool. It's really, interesting and fun and innovative to watch. But as a result, and he can play. He's a lot better defense than he gets credit for. But it's just everything's so offensively oriented, so 3-point oriented, and the game is supposed to be open up, but it's just a bunch of guys shooting threes and shooting free throws. It's just a bunch of guys shooting threes and free throws. Yeah, Donke's already these guys are already top 5 guys. These are European white boys, as you said. I love WY as a synonym for white people. It just makes me fun. It's funny to me. So because you can't say white. I know if you type white, sometimes it'll censor it in YouTube. Oh yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug. You want to talk about real drug use in sports? We could talk about Lawrence Taylor ending Joe Theismann's career. That hit's illegal now. It was not then. It was not then. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, and if there's anyone who used cocaine as a performance enhancer, it was Lawrence Taylor. And you know what? Another monster that was part of his job. So I cannot explain why, but I hate Reggie Miller. I'm not even a basketball fan, but I hate that bash. I'm not sure if it's because of his commentary, which I've never liked him as a commentator, honestly. He always had he kind of sounds like Kermit. But as a player, you want to talk about a master fucking troll. Reggie Miller is a masterful troll as a player. And his job was to make you hate people. There was guys like that back in the day. Dennis Rodman, I want you to hate me. You know what I mean? But now I wish we had more players who would embrace being hated. Man, Madonna is in love with fucking Madonna, she loved her some brothers. She liked Big Daddy Kane. She loved her some penis. That's the truth. That's the truth. No disrespect, but I mean she was in love with Dennis Rodman, apparently. Apparently he tried to get her pregnant. I don't know what happened there. Why did I love Barkley? I don't know. The dunks? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, but you're right. He was a troll too. A lot of these that was the nature of the league, man. A lot more antagonistic, a lot more. That was a quote, Yins, masculine. Men being men. Yes, those games against the Knicks. Him that highlight of him hitting those threes. He scored 8 points. He had 2 free throws, hits the 3, gets the steal, goes back to the 3-point line, hits the 3, and then does the choking symbol to Spike Lee. That's fucking incredible. That's one of the best things I ever saw in sports. Yeah, so I mean, Reggie Miller was a masterful troll. Nothing wrong with hating him. But you know what? We felt more emotional. And there's something about guys like, I don't care if you like me. I'm not looking for your Instagram follows. I'm not looking for likes on TikTok or Twitter or any of this shit. I'm trying to win games. Whoa, Eric K. We shall not take disrespect. Unless you're talking about the motherfucker who played for the Boston Celtics recently, who was like 5'8". Isaiah Thomas is underrated, sir. Underrated. A lot of people give him shit because the fucking Bad Boys were insane. There's no doubt about that. Like, as much as I love the Bad Boys, they just were fighting people. Like, and you know who was worse was fucking Bill Laimbeer. I mean, he would just go up, straight up elbow. Rick Mahorn. We had a lot of just super dirty players. Was Isaiah the dirtiest player on the team? Not really. Not on our team. His numbers, he averages damn near 20 and 10 as far as 20 points, 10 assists. He won 2 championships. He had a lot of, I think he's underrated. He only played 12, 13 years. He tore his ACL at the year 11, 12, whatever it was. I think he's very much underrated, man. I just think, you know what? A lot of people love Jordan so much they hate the Pistons. I think that might be what that is. And hell, I love the Pistons so much, I kind of dislike Jordan. Now, as a grown person, I can see, like, okay, you shouldn't have put Isaiah on the dream team because of all this other shit. But it pissed me off. Like, man, a Detroit player could have been on a dream team and he wasn't. Spike Lee got annihilated. Spike Lee was so silly. So silly. Reggie was good on Dan Patrick, but they always picked on because of Ray Allen. Well, what did they do about Steph Curry? I know Ray Allen broke a lot of his records, and now Steph Curry has annihilated him. And there's probably like 50 guys ahead of both of them now. Probably just rando assholes ahead of both Reggie Miller and Ray Allen. Tony Kukoc was kind of underrated. He was kind of underrated. He had a very unique skill set that never got maximized, really. I mean, he didn't need to be maximized because the role player he was. But yeah, a very unique skill set, especially for that era. But yeah, I think Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah Thomas wasn't the best shooter as far as percentage-wise. So that's something to say. But he had as good of a handle as anyone at the era. Solid to above average to great defense. And yeah, really good team. And just the last 4 years, VigilanteWilliamson. Lost. Oh, Reggie. Oh, this is just in the last 4 years as far as the Reggie being picked on Ray Allen. Huh. Yeah, Steph has annihilated both of their records in just the last 4 years. So yeah. And you know what? Steph Curry, as great as he is, and I think he's one of the better players we've had in the league. It just he's unfortunately, a lot of great players have done this. Jordan did this. He influenced a bunch of people who wanted to be him who weren't as good. So everybody takes 40-foot threes and they look terrible. Everybody takes a bunch of threes. Everybody has to shoot. You got to shoot a bunch of threes. That's the modern league, the modern NBA. And I always fuck up his name. It's a bonus. Isn't his son playing now? I think his son's doing pretty good. He was pretty sweet for what he was, man. Sabonis was pretty sweet. He played in Portland, I believe. 7-3 center. I want to say he has a son playing. Maybe getting him mixed up with someone else. I may actually be getting him mixed up. Let me make sure I'm not getting Sabonis mixed up. Somebody else, because I am drinking in his tire. Yeah, the Montes Sabonis is his son, I believe. Playing for the Pacers, yeah. Yeah, you did play for the Blazers. I'm thinking of the right guy. Yeah. Goodness, didn't realize how late in his career he came. He was very late in his career. Wow. You're not kidding. Similar to we talked about the NFL a little bit. Warren Moon came late in his career to the NFL. Man, what would have happened if he was allowed to play his whole career? His son is pretty good for the Pacers, isn't it? His son's pretty good. His class, Drazen Petrovic. You want to talk about underrated guy? I know he passed. Man, he's a guy that helped change the league into what it is. Says Klay Thompson's more important to me. When he went on against the Raptors, that turned it around. No, KD and Curry weren't healthy. Yeah, I think they needed all of those players because I have a hot take. Steve Kerr's not gonna say not a good coach. That's just not true. That's just not true. He ain't Phil Jackson. He's not a good adjustment guy. He's good at letting Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant shoot a lot of threes and using some plays he got from Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson to shoot those threes. But I don't think he's a great analyst. I know a lot of his assistants do a lot of his work, and I don't think they know how to adjust. I don't think they knew how to adjust when either of those guys were out. Any of those three guys, they just knew how to have those guys shoot a bunch of threes, and they ran a few sweet plays. And you had Draymond Green playing point center, point power forward, and they had their little def lineup and shit. And yeah, you're not lying about my man Warren Moon. Greatest QB, you said greatest QB you ever seen. It sucks that so many people now have like 4,800 and 5,000 yard seasons. So like somebody like Warren Moon's career just looks average by comparison. But yeah, if you combine his stats for the CFL and NFL, it surpasses everyone, including Dan Marino. And Warren, you want to talk about a quarterback who actually faced racism? That's a guy who actually faced racism because he should have never, ever had to go to the CFL. You know what I mean? All these guys now, and I'm not trying to listen. I hate how racism can be underplayed. I hate the idea that where somebody says, "Oh, racism's all underplayed," but everything about this anti-white stuff is like, hold on, Kiwasabi, chill. There's a middle ground here, and I'm not gonna say the NFL doesn't have its issues and shit, but it's like that's a guy who had to deal with some shit, and quarterbacks before him, Doug Williams, a lot of those guys had to deal with some shit. But fucking, the guys now, I'm not saying it's all rosy because you still have to get hit. As much as I talk about it's a softer game, it ain't softer for the O lineman and T lineman. They still bang each other just as hard. So it's still a tough game. And you ain't playing the USFL. I didn't know you played in the USFL. I knew the CFL. Man, I didn't know you played in the US. That's even more stuff. I was a huge Warren Moon fan. I remember when he was playing for the Vikings, and that was kind of outside of his prime, but he was still pretty solid there. And I remember one just every throwback jersey. I just thought he was the coolest thing. He was a guy that lost a lot of big games. I think that comeback at Buffalo really hurt his legacy. One of the biggest comebacks, probably still the biggest comeback of all time in the playoffs. Petrovic played for one of my home teams, Sabona, or for my home team, Sabona. Got his autograph when he was little. Holy shit. Euro clashes between him and Sabonis are the stuff of legends. EuroLeague has always had some really great players, man. People say China's the secondary league. I mean, I'm sure in front for and as far as pay, but EuroLeague has just historically been right below the NBA as far as quality, and sometimes with a lot of talent, you can argue on par. I mean, it's just a lot of talent in EuroLeague's history. And again, kind of talking about the white boy stuff, man. Some of the best players that have ever played are white boys. Cinch your dildo. Your mama's white. Stop being racist towards white people. Cinch and dildo. No, I don't know that your mom's white. Your mom can be any race. I have no idea. I don't know your mom. Pretty sure he did. Oh, man. Kirk kind of proved his team carries him. He went out, coach. Walton coach. Look what he did in LA. Saying they didn't need to coach that year. I agree. I don't think what was it, that finals they stupidly gave the fucking MVP to Iguodala. That's the MVP Steph Curry should have won. He'll never get a Finals MVP. But don't you know it was an assistant coach that had the idea of putting Iguodala on LeBron? It wasn't even him. It wasn't even Steve Kerr. He's so overrated as a coach. He's so overrated as a coach. He just does not know how to adjust. No clue. Man, I could go all night. You guys are so awesome. I just got to end. I love doing these streams. I love these casual streams. I even like these late night streams. A couple weeks, you'll probably get a lot more of these when I'm off. Like I said, I actually just gave notice today. And as far as my new job, you talking about Bill Burr's bit. Got no issues with white boys hooping. Yeah. I love basketball. I really wish it was more of an international sport. I really wish it was a better sport. Or I hate this wokeness is killing because I think the sport, God, there's a lot of fun to be had playing it. I like playing pickup basketball. I haven't played since this damn lockdown. I got 1 trillion pounds because of it. I really want to get in shape and get back into playing pickup. It's the highlights. There's so much great 80s and 90s stuff on YouTube. It's a really great sport. I really hope basketball can get its shit together. I was really, before this lockdown, I was really getting into not just NBA, but just international basketball, Euro League stuff, fucking the 3-on-3 league, the just YouTubers who are good hoopers and shit. It really became a good thing. Oh man, you guys are still going, and I can't help it. Bill Hoyle is my favorite player. Okay. Yeah, love you, man. Love you too, Eric K. I love you, man. Hope you feel better. See, talk about what you love. Yeah, maybe I need to do a retro sports stream. I could do this all day. Hate Curry. Don't hate LeBron as a player. I do, however, despise him as a human. What makes you hate Curry? Like, I like Curry. I wish everybody didn't try to be Steph Curry. Okay, I'm like, that's familiar. Yeah, white man can't jump. Yeah, it's a great movie. I'm like, why do I know that name? Sorry, I'm drunk and tired. I can't get everyone. Yeah, Bill Hoyle. I'm like, Bill Hoyle. Like, man, Billy Hoyle. Yeah. Shout out to White Man Can't Jump. But, listen, if everybody didn't try to be Stephen Curry, he would be cool. But everybody tries to be Stephen Curry. I mean, outside Dame Lillard, no one else gets close. But, yep, congrats on the job move. Thanks. Another great stream. Everyone take it easy. Shameless plug. If you're waiting 20 minutes, look for my video taking down Filoni and Peggy 4. Okay, we will check it out. I'll check it out tomorrow. I got to sleep. Good night, Gomer Kyle. Good night to everybody. Shout out to anyone who went through this stream. We talked about a lot of stuff. Talked about the Geeky Pixie thing. Talked about me wanting to fall back from streaming and to find my voice as a streamer, to find myself, so to speak. So yeah, I really got it. And then we talked a lot of classic sports, but I really do want to, kind of focus the channel on more stuff. And again, I'm not trying to be CNN where blue hair Landwell or Kathleen Kennedy or the amalgamation of wokies is my Trump. That's just not a good look. That's just not a good look because eventually the pendulum will shift. And for fuck's sake, my mom only found out what cisgender was on Mother's Day this year. It's not like normies know what the fuck is going on. They're finding out. But they didn't know. And that's why another mouse. Everyone's trying to be him. Everyone's sense from. Okay, I understand that. That makes sense. I don't blame him though. He's just a really good player. And if more people would stick to their own guns and found out what was great about them, and everybody didn't try to be Steph Curry, it would be a better league. And since you do this, since you want to experience real basketball atmosphere, come to the Balkans. Y'all can't create a game atmosphere for shit. In the 90s, if you want to talk a team that had good atmosphere, the fucking Seattle Supersonics. Watch any of those highlights. Those crowds in Seattle were insane. Seattle had a lit crowd. A lot of those 90s teams, Indiana had a lit crowd. New York had a lit crowd. Those was pretty good atmosphere. But I know that one thing about a lot of the Euro League, especially the older stuff, that enclosedness makes it a little bit more intense. And so, yep, I can go on. Pop has no clue what's going on. Can't imagine trying to explain this to my grandparents. Absolutely. Sean Kemp, and fucking Gary Payton, man. There are highlights. The crowd is ready to lose their shit. It's like The Rock in his prime at a WWE show. I mean, the crowd is just insane. But I love you all. I could go all day with all you guys. Peace out, RFR. Peace out, the Wake Down. Peace out, Eric K. I appreciate you being here and kind of being encouraging. Go Macau. Oh, you guys let off flares indoors. Oh Lord, you crazy Balkans. Cinch and Dildo. Clobbering Times was here earlier. We were talking some old NFL. Who else? A lot of people showed up. And blame my head, not my heart. Geeky Pixie and Jared. All jokes aside, that guy, he has some issues going on. I pray that he can go to fucking therapy, man. And yeah, I need to go to bed and get the heck out of here. Last comment. Went to college with a Luxembourgian basketball player. He was my roommate and friend, and I love watching him play. We Americans were pussies and couldn't handle his physical play. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. But all right, that's what we'll end on. Peace, everybody.